Hello, and welcome to another episode of Component Carousel. We have with us today Zach Saucier. Zach, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled to have you on. We've been chatting for a while. You have been at GreenSock, and now you are at Rally. You've been doing some fantastic stuff just in and around the creative community for as long as I've known you. Probably longer than just I've known you, though, right? Like I don't think you
A
started
bit.
the day that you met Alex Shost. You weren't like, I'm gonna start doing some creative developer stuff. I think you were doing it for a while, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it. I started my senior year of high school. Was what got me into programming seriously. I would say was animation stuff related to web tech. So since then, I did it all through college. Now I've been working for full time for a couple years. Um, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, like I said, when we met, you were working as GreenSock developer relations ambassador, kind of like an all-encompassing role of like handling the forums, working on demos, giving talks, going on live streams, right? So like you got into like the core of GreenSock and really understood it better than just about anyone that I know. And so you definitely helped me out with a few GreenSock issues, and your GreenSock skills are pretty legendary. But today, are we going to be doing any GreenSock?
No,
That's
we won't
awesome.
be involved.
Yeah,
Today, you'll just be using the Canvas API and then some related tools.
love it. So before we get into exactly what we are building today with the Canvas API, just want to say hey to the chat. We got Ben Myers in chat. We got Aaron. Got Lucy there. Hey, you got Tom, who's coming on. Is it next week? I think Tom is on next week. That's Creative Ocean. Amit is the week after. Man, we just got everyone. They're all kind of like getting. They're watching Zach and saying, "All right, what's he gonna do?" And then I'll maybe do something kind of similar, maybe a little different. Lord Dust TV, welcome. Good to see you. Vanilla, yeah, pretty much, right? So, and Nino Pepper, good to see you. So, Zach, with that Canvas API, what are we doing exactly? What's the plan here? Because I came to you and I said, hey, the theme for this month that Christopher, a member of the Discord and just a fantastic person in the Front End Horse stream for a while, Christopher came up with this fantastic theme of kaiju demolition services, where basically you have a website where you can rent Godzilla for a day or King Kong, and they can come destroy whatever you want. So instead of like hiring like a demolition company that uses dynamite, just lean on the kaiju and have them come blow up your city, or maybe just like a couch in your backyard. Who knows? And you cooked up what for us?
I cooked up, well, first of all, I looked back at some of my previous work and I realized I really like particles, Like particles are a fun part of the web. I really enjoy like creating web experiences that aren't just like straight like DOM, I guess. And so, yeah, I saw that and I was like, well, I in the past have made things that blew things up. And so this kaiju service is a perfect use case for the tools that I've built already and some of the techniques that I've developed for that.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. So that's like a great transition over to your personal site, and like I just dropped that link in the chat there for people. And really, I want to get into some of these projects because you've got a great set of code pens, and I'll drop that in the chat. And hey, Steph, hey, Alan, I saw you pop into the chat. Um, Zach, as I said, oh, that's just so good. I would really enjoy that. But you just came out with this one. I dropped this in our Discord, our front end horse Discord just the other day, and people loved the colors, loved just the way that it looked. What's is this canvas also? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a recreation of one of my favorite Twitter people, similar to like Bees and Bombs, but he does mostly canvas stuff that's
Cool.
generative. And he made a few works that were very similar to this. And so I was like, oh, I could do something like that. I haven't played around with Canvas API in a while, like in a raw form, I guess. So yeah, that is basically just building a bunch of these parallelograms that use canvases like points to shape, and then you fill it with a color.
That's
But
super
yeah, the
cool.
performance for it was much more smooth than I was expecting. Because if you try to do this in the web like 5 years ago, it would be a whole lot slower.
Yeah. I mean,
So thank God for better tech.
I think I'm sending it to chat at like 60 FPS. Yeah, it's buttery, right, chat? It's fantastic. So looks really good. And I just noticed the little details of the plus signs, just the rotation every few seconds. That's just a nice little touch that I did not pick up on the first time. This is another one where it builds out images. How are we doing this one? Is this another canvas
So
strip?
that's a fork of Zinnia Zdorsky's original
Ah,
pen of
it's fantastic.
taking an image and destroying it based off of where you click.
Ah,
To
nice.
learn how that process was built, I built this pin, which
Cool.
is like just constructing images with a given direction. And
Nice.
so it uses some basic Voronoi divisions to take one image and split it into a bunch of little canvases, and then
Wait,
those
is that
are
how you say that
rotated
word?
in.
Is
Voronoi?
yeah. Oh
I
no, I've
think
been
so.
saying Voronoi. Oh my goodness. Thank you for Voronoi. That makes complete sense, but for a second I'm like, what's for? Oh no, I've been saying it wrong
It's like my
forever.
last name. People, you can just call me Saucy. My last name is
Okay.
technically Saucier, so the
I
same
I've been
sort of
saying Saucier,
grouping.
but it's
Yeah,
Saucier.
it's technically Saucier. Yeah,
I thought I've been good about it because I'm sure people just call you Saucier, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But I thought I've been getting it right this whole time, just like Voronoi, but apparently not. um, and the last one I just want to kind of show, and I think this should be light enough for the chat. But it's this awesome pyramid that has, it's made up of polygons, right? Of triangular polygons, but like they twist and it just looks really cool. It's just really satisfying. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that a 3JS one? Yeah.
It is. It's a custom mesh because the way that you can have like a 3JS pyramid, and that's like a built-in like shape, but the way that they divide up the triangles is a little different. So I wanted to have this particular division of triangles in order to recreate another GIF that I saw. So yeah, that uses custom mesh, and then it uses some basically transforming of the vertexes to do the spinning, and then it uses some vertex coloring to give the line edges some color.
I was just about to say the pulsing of the edges is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And Ben says, now this is what it would have looked like if aliens built the pyramid. So well done, Ben. Good point. Ed Burtnix, welcome. Thank you for coming through. Good to see you. Aliens did build the pyramids. All right, chat has now become a History Channel, just evolving into that. That makes Zach an alien. Yep. Nice out. Cool. So those are some fantastic pens. We're gonna make one for today where we are going to basically blow up this city thanks to this kaiju. What's the name of this kaiju? It's Gigan?
Gigan. Yeah. I don't
Gigan,
know
okay.
exactly. I assume it's Gigan.
I
I
mean,
looked up kaiju with laser vision, and this is the guy that came up. So
he's also got some pretty wicked arms, so
he does. He does.
I think that that's gonna be, yeah. I mean, it's a good fallback, but I think we're gonna stick with the laser vision for today. So you've got a really sweet fire button. I really enjoy that. And we've got Gigan and a bit of text just to kind of make it a full component because we're going to be adding this into the website with all the other components that we make from this month. So I appreciate that. So yeah, that city, Zach, I kind of need it gone. Can you help me out?
For sure, for sure.
Sweet.
The first thing we can do is just take a look at the existing code. I have just some boilerplate HTML and CSS, just kind of give the layout that you see. Nothing much to it. You can see a bunch of images being loaded there. That will be our
Yeah.
cities that we'll destroy.
Cool.
Yeah, they are all Asian
Fire.
cities. Not because I hate Asia, but because I feel like every kaiju movie is in Asia. So
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong there,
a
but
lot of the classics are happening. Yeah, cool. And then we got some audio that we're gonna pipe in a bit later. Chat,
right.
if you're wondering where we're going or where we've been, we've always got today's steps down there, so you can kind of see what we've got planned. Um, and then yeah, we got some audio here. Perfect. And then CSS. Do you want to touch on anything in particular in here?
Nah, there's nothing much to it. It's
Cool.
just keeping things where you see them,
Nice.
styling the button.
And then we got some DOM references. So this is just pulling in those elements from the HTML into variables that we can then use in the rest of our code, right?
Yep.
Um,
Some audio setup that we'll get to later.
cool.
And a little helper function for creating ranges, but nothing too much there. The laser is what we're going to be focused on first.
Nice.
We're kind of going to take this structure of a class and add some more functionality to it.
Okay.
The basic point that we want the laser to accomplish is we'll give it starting and ending values, and then
Okay.
it will draw that
So it's
on
going to
the
go
canvas.
from point A to point B and draw a line. It's like a line segment from geometry, right? I'm
Yeah, basically.
I'm working with like my 8th grade education here, so like if at any time you can reference that, that would be super helpful.
8th grade education. We'll do. Keep it in mind.
Yeah. Cool. So where do we want to put that first? Or,
Um,
or do we want to keep looking? Is there anything else to touch on first? Got an update function, so this is going to run on every animation frame, right?
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So we already have that set up for us, and I guess the first thing that we can do, let me check and see. Pull up. Sorry.
Yeah, fine.
So yeah, we'll work on this init function first, but we'll skip the first comment, leaving the disintegrate part. So basically, I'll go ahead and explain a bit about the particle explosion on the forefront. So if you want to take any DOM element and break it into pieces, how would you do that? Do you have any guesses at some approaches?
No stinking clue, honestly. I have very little canvas experience, so like taking like even canvas stuff, I really don't know where to start. DOM elements breaking into pieces. If I had to like break, make an effect where like a button shatters into 4 pieces, I'd probably make 4 buttons and then do a clip mask and
Yep.
animate those out. So like that's how I would do that. But that is that's probably wrong.
That's a valid way of doing
Okay.
it for sure. With that, you're gonna run into performance issues is if you want more than like a couple pieces.
Like 4 pieces is one
Um,
thing, but 1,000 particles, you got 1,000 buttons now.
yeah, so it
Good
depends on the
luck.
type of effect you want.
Yeah.
But if something is already in Canvas, there's a really handy method of like getting a pixel color from a canvas point,
Okay.
and then you can do whatever you want with that. So if you wanted to draw a larger circle at that point with that color, you could, or a square or whatever. So if something's in Canvas, it's pretty easy to make some sort of particle effect based off of it, because it gives you that data in like JavaScript. And so to take something that is in the DOM made with HTML and CSS and to convert that to Canvas is a tough process. I would not recommend doing it yourself. Basically, you are recreating what the browser does with that input, but in Canvas instead of the native like whatever they use to draw to a screen. So I didn't do that, but
Cool.
there's this handy tool called HTML to Canvas
Got it.
that can convert most CSS type elements to Canvas for you. And then what I did in the past when exploring this was basically take a DOM element use HTML to canvas to make it in canvas, and then I made particles based off of that canvas version.
Got it.
And so that library that I made is called Disintegrate. And so here we're going to use Disintegrate, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
Cool. So the first thing that we want to do is create our laser.
Cool. So checking
so
off.
to create our laser, we need to already have a laser variable declared at the top, but it's not. I think I do.
Laser canvas, laser CTX.
Mine might not actually have it yet in this version. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna just create it ourselves.
Cool.
So you can create a variable that has global scope, or you could just create a variable that isn't inside of the function scope of init. So yeah,
Const laser here.
Do let. We'll initialize it when the page is initialized.
Cool.
Okay. And then inside of the init function, we're going to want to create our laser with that class. So laser is equal to then how you create a class, which is new laser. And in that, we're going to pass in an object for a parameter and give it a target. And that target's value will be our first city, which the cities are already in an array for you. So you can just say cities and then get the first item from that array. Yeah, cool. Perfect. So that will create our laser.
Awesome. Just super quick for chat. Is the text large enough? Can you all read it well enough? And Zach, I guess same question for you. Are you able to see it well enough? All right, cool. I just want to make sure because I don't always do CodePen, but when I do, I want to make sure. Yeah, let's actually keep it there. I don't think that throws us off too much. Cool. All right, I think we're good.
Cool. So the next thing that we want to do is start the update cycle. So you can just call the update function that's already built in.
If I can type it. Cool. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Here. Awesome.
That'll call it. And then, yeah, we can go ahead and do the event listener as well. So this button is called btn in our variables.
Got it. So right there.
Cool. You're just going to add a click listener for it.
All right. So add event listener.
Mm-hmm.
And then click.
Click. And then you can create a function.
Cool. What do you want to do inside this function?
So let's go ahead and take a look at the laser class and look at some of the things inside of it. So here's the constructor. It just creates an animation duration and sets up the target. It allows you to pass in a target using a function instead if you wanted to do that later. So you can use pass in a target via the constructor, or later you can say, hey, laser, target this thing, and then it'll do that also.
Cool.
Both of those will update the target element property. And there's some resizing, which we don't have to focus on because it's just boilerplate.
And so the target's going to be like that other endpoint, right?
It will be basically in this case, it's set up to be a DOM element. And that DOM element, it will calculate where, like the center of that DOM element.
Got it.
And then that will be the coordinates that we use.
Cool.
So if you scroll down a bit, we can see what else is in here. Scroll past the resize.
Cool.
So we have this draw line function, which will draw a line, draw a laser, which will use lines to draw the laser. And then we have a fire laser function, which will kind of run things. So we haven't filled in those yet. We'll get to it. But basically, the fire laser is what we want to have happen on a click.
Got it. So that's the function that we're going to call from the button.
Right.
So that's going to be...
We're probably going to do a little bit more in addition to that. It's good to do like some... You don't want if somebody clicks the button a bunch of times, we want to disallow.
We want to destroy every
that.
city, is what you're saying, right? The world
We
should
don't.
stop.
So even though canvas particles are pretty performant, there's still a limit to how much you're able to render. And so I would recommend that while one city is blowing up, we don't blow up other cities. And for that reason,
That makes sense.
Probably good for us to just limit the amount of lasers being fired. Because unfortunately, our computers are limited.
But Gigan is not, so.
Yes. This is a false representation of our real product.
Yeah.
So
just for chat, Gigan, this is not a representation of his limitations. This is ours, all right? Gigan, no offense intended, okay? Really don't want to
software kaiju.
Yeah, I don't know what his lawyers are like, but I don't need them on my back.
He doesn't need lawyers, but he'll just destroy us, you know? So anyway, so you can go ahead and call laser.firelaser in that click function if you want.
Cool.
One other thing that I would do is probably wrap that statement or command in an if statement. And we want to keep a property inside of our laser class to keep track of whether or not it's animating. So you can go ahead and say if the laser dot is animating, and then we want to do the opposite of that. So if it's not animating,
cool.
Yeah.
And so then, as long as it's not animating, we can fire. But if it is animating, we don't want to fire laser. Makes sense to me. Does that exist already?
I don't believe it does. So we can go ahead and create an is animating.
Right in there like that. I don't work with classes too much, so if I'm goofing on it, let me know.
Yeah, that's fine. Setting it false in the constructor is good. And then what we want to do is inside of the fire laser method, we want to set that to true. So I guess you can just do it at the top.
Is it? Yeah, this that's and then what is it? Is animating?
Is animating? Yep.
True, and then a set timeout.
We're not actually going to do that here.
Okay.
So instead, basically, when you're working with animations, it's a lot of things, but probably most things I'd say. You want to avoid just kind of guessing a time.
Okay.
Or using some generic my animation's 3 seconds long, so I'm going to set a timeout for 3 seconds, because then you have it could fire in the wrong order in some cases. So oftentimes it's better to use callbacks, and Disintegrate, the plugin that I made, does have callbacks.
Perfect.
So we're going to use that, but for the time being, we're going to create a laser without any particle effects. So we'll just have to refresh the page if we want it to fire again.
Sounds good. Cool.
So yeah, that should be good for the is animating states. We can go ahead and do the update function. And yeah, just make sure that following the comment, you can create an if statement. Again, checking if the laser is animating. And if it is this time, instead of if it's not, we want to draw the we want to call the laser's draw function.
Okay.
Which will
draw a line or draw a laser?
Just draw.
Okay, cool.
So that draw function, which we will populate very soon, will draw everything that it needs to. In this case, it will be the laser and nothing else. But say we wanted to expand this later on and draw other things on our canvas, it would make sense to have a generic draw function.
Cool.
So yeah, that should be it for the update.
All right, method. Nice. Cool.
So we're getting somewhere, but
yeah,
still not. Now we get to the meat of the laser, I guess. So if we go up to the laser class, what else do we need to create? We can do target. Yeah.
Did I miss that? Target. Here we go. Cool. So this does target element equals element. Got it.
we can go ahead and set it to get the. So in this method, as you can see, it's being passed in an element. In this case, it's a DOM reference. And so you can use any of the conventional methods of getting coordinates from this DOM element. And then we want to set the properties of end x and end y based off of that. So you can create, or you can say under the comment, would make the most sense. This dot index is equal to our element. I would
that or
lm, yeah,
cool.
lm, and then you could do, and to get the center of it, which we'll just use for ease, you could do offset width. Is an easy way to get the width, and then times 0.5.
Cool.
And I intended you to name the variable END capital X, not the index of the.
That makes, I got it. That
cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm just so used
to. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I'm just used to hearing index and yeah. Anyway,
I understand.
Yeah.
So the same thing for end y, and instead of the width, use the height.
Cool.
So that will give us some nice coordinates to go to.
Cool.
Let's see. Look at the scroll down to the. For now, we can just set the start position. We want to do the same thing, but for start x and start y. Okay. Go ahead and in the resize function, just put this dot start x is equal to 0, and this dot start y is equal to 0. We can come back to that and make it come from Kaiju's eyes, or
right.
Laser eye. I don't know what you call
now,
that.
Now is it going to come from up here, or yeah?
Yes.
Got it. Cool.
But it'll give us something to work with, and then I can give you the magic numbers that I already have calculated for that later.
Sounds good. Just real quick, is our canvas pretty much this area right here? Is that like from the bottom of Gigan to the top of the city? Is that our canvas?
I believe it's just the city portion. So,
okay.
Where you see the image of the city, I believe that's the size for the canvas.
Got it. Right just a quick question, chat. Did that just freeze for you? Just wondering because I used, or Zach, did that freeze for you also?
No. You mean I can see your mouse and stuff?
My screen. So, I was wondering if the box I just drew, because it seemed like it. Nope. Okay, cool. Thank you, B1 Mind. And I just want to say hi to people, El Suxo, Jacob, B1 Mind, everyone who came in. Thank you for following www.org. And Elixir, welcome. You are all honorary horses now. Thank you for coming through. Appreciate it. Cool. So we've got our start position. What next?
Let's see. We do the draw function first. Let's do the draw function first.
Okay.
So the first thing that we want, scroll down to the draw method.
Cool.
So here we want to get, so we have a laser, right?
We have a laser, right?
Anytime you have a laser, you have to have a starting point and an ending point. And we already have the coordinates for those, right?
Cool.
Or at least temporary coordinates. But with any ray of light, like a ray of light does not just appear, right? It starts at your start point, and then it extends to wherever it hits or reflects or whatever. But in this case, it's going to have a start and end point. So it's going to go from the beginning and grow to the end. And then when you turn off the laser like shrinks from the end, or from the start to the end.
It doesn't go back down like a lightsaber. It continues on in that direction.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. That's the other laser that I'm familiar with. So.
Yes, we are not building a lightsaber laser here. We're building a real laser. I like to say so.
A kaiju laser, a real one. All right, none of that Star Wars crap.
Yeah. So basically, we're going to have kind of two, I guess, halves of our animation.
Okay.
We're going to have the half where it grows from the start to the end, and then the half where it shrinks from the
The end of the
start
start.
to the end.
Right. Cool.
So we're going to need to have some progress values in
Okay.
order to kind of determine that. But in order to get a progress value, you first need the time difference between when you started and when you finish.
Got it.
So you can create a new variable. I called mine time diff inside of the draw.
Oh, inside a draw. Cool.
Inside of the draw.
Let or const or?
You can set it as a constant. It shouldn't. It's constant for each time you call this.
Cool.
And it's going to be equal to the current time minus our start time. This start time.
Is it this current time or?
It's so in JavaScript you can get the current time with like date.now. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, I just don't know it offhand.
Capital
so
D, and then
cool.
.now, and then
yeah,
it's a method.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then minus
this dot start time. I don't think we have this dot start time.
I don't think so
yet.
either.
That'll go in our fire laser function because when we start firing the laser, we want to get the start time.
Got it. So the same sort of thing, date.now, but we're going to set that in here, but we probably don't want to, like, we want to scope this on the class. Is that, would that be accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So here you can say this dot start time is equal to date.now. Cool. Nice. Then we actually also want to have an end time just to make things more convenient.
Okay.
This dot end time is equal to this dot start time plus, and I already have this in there. There's a property of the class called animdir for animation duration. So you can say this dot animdir, which will give us the end time, which is the start plus.
And that was the 200 at the top, right? So it's going to take.
Correct.
Cool.
200 milliseconds in this case.
Nice.
So now we have our start and end time. We'll skip the play audio for now. So go back to the draw. We have our time diff. It should work. It should give us the difference between the time that the draw method is called and the start of the animation, which will give us a amount of time since the start. But now we want to convert that amount of time into a percentage of the total animation duration.
Cool.
So in this case, I would probably create it as a let, and I'll explain why in a bit.
Okay.
And you can just call it %, or I called mine %complete. Doesn't really matter.
We're doing this the Zach Saucier way.
All right.
Saucier way. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn that's slight difference. Cool.
And you're gonna set that equal to the time diff divided by the total animation, which is this dot animdir.
Cool.
So that'll give us a 0 to 1 value of our animation percentage.
Okay.
And so if you use something like GSAP, it does all of this for you. You don't have to calculate the duration of time and percentage and stuff yourself. You can just use their methods. But in our case, the animation is very simple. So you don't have to use something like GSAP, although you could. It definitely is a valid way to do something like this.
Cool. Animdir, did I typo that? You did dir.
It's D-U-R.
D-U-R. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, good catch.
Yeah, thank you so much, B1 Mind. And Anthony is Swag Killer. He says, bad idea, a JavaScript dating app called date.now. Solid.
Okay, so now we have a percentage between 0 and 1. And you could use that directly. What I find to be helpful to create two halves of animation in a situation like this, what I like to do is kind of treat it as two smaller animations, kind of each with their own progress value.
Okay.
but it's inconvenient to have progress value between 0 and 5 and 0.5 and 1. That's not the most fun in terms of calculating
it's
things.
not exactly to treat 49% as 98%.
Right.
Yeah, it gets a little messy.
So it's good to normalize it.
Cool.
And so if we have, so let's go ahead and first, let me see. Okay. There's two ways we could do this. The first is if we treated our animation duration as a maximum of the total time for both animations.
Okay.
The other way to view it is to view the first half of the animation, like where the laser is growing, as having a duration of our animation duration, and then the second half also having that much time. So basically, we could take our 300 milliseconds and divide it by 2 and split it, or we could say the first half is 300, the second half is 300. So it's 600 total.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So we just have to pick one is basically what it is. Yeah.
In this case, the calculations are a little bit easier if we do the second of those options, where we have 300 milliseconds for both halves. And so our percent complete here, will actually go above 1. It will go, in our case, to 2 because of the animation duration being 1 for the first half, 1 for the second half.
So are we multiplying it by 2 here, or
no? So since we have the straight time already, and we have this percent complete, our percent complete variable will go from 1 to 2 by default. But how we can handle that is by creating an if statement here. And inside of the if, we can say if percent complete is less than 1, this is inside the draw function. Yeah, okay. Then in that case, we treat it just like a normal progress because it's between 0 and 1. And we will want to draw it as such. We'll go ahead and do the logic part first. So go ahead and go outside of that and do an else if.
Cool.
Percent complete is less than 2 for our second half. We're going to modify the percent complete. So you can say percent complete minus equals 1. So now we have the percent complete in the first if statement will be between 0 and 1, and then percent complete in the second if statement will be between 0 and 1 also.
Oh, got it. So we're going to go from 0 to 1, but as soon as we hit 1, we're going to opt out of that first if block, and then we're going to be in the second one. But once we're inside that, we're still going to bump that number back to 1 so that we are still operating with both parts of the animation on a 0 to 100 type of animation keyframe thing, right? Like
0 to 1, but yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
So now we have our progress values for each half, which is convenient. And then we also want an else after the else if, just to finish up the logic portion, which will be when both halves are done. And so in this case, we can say this dot is animating is equal to false. And we also want to clear out our canvas, which there's a method part in the laser class called clear. So you can just do this dot clear and then call that function.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's good for now.
Cool.
So this has the logic part of we're going to have our first half, we're going to have our second half, and then it'll clear.
Awesome.
Now we actually have to draw some stuff. So that's what we'll do next inside of the draw function.
Nice. All right. So draw. Here we go.
And sorry, I'm going a little fast. We have kind of a lot, I feel like, to cover this time.
I don't think you're going fast, honestly. I think this is solid.
People let us know if you have questions or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, chat. Like if you got questions, Ask him now. Ask him in the Discord. Ask him whenever. So, yeah, you're doing
Cool.
great, Zach. This is
So
really cool.
the first thing, or I guess we need every time that we're drawing, we'll need to have uh, the. So in the first half of the animation, we know the start point, right? It is wherever the start X and Y are.
Yep.
But the end point, based on each draw call, will vary because we don't want to draw the whole thing at once. We want to draw a segment of it.
Got it.
So we're going to have a current X and Y that will be whatever value it needs to be based off of the progress of that animation.
Got it.
So you can create another const and call this cur X, like for current X.
Inside here?
Yes.
Correct, like
and that is equal to, we need to have, so to calculate any current X, you need to have the starting point, and then you add on the distance based off of the progress.
Cool.
Like the distance, times the percentage, which will give you like that value of the difference. So you can set it to equal to this dot start X plus, we can do percentage first. So you can say percent complete, and then multiply that times the difference between our start and end values. So you can say this dot index minus this dot start X.
Okay. This dot index, yeah.
Yes.
So this dot index and the second one was what?
Minus this dot start X. So that's the actual distance in pixels between the start and end, and we multiply that times the percent to get the current difference. And then you add that to the start to make sure it's starting from the right place.
Cool. Yeah. So it starts there, and then it's going to grow depending on how much
cool. That percentage.
That's awesome.
So do the same exact thing, but for Y. So you just copy that whole line and then Control D on the X's if you want.
Cool.
Perfect.
Love that trick.
Yeah, it is so handy. I didn't figure that out till like a year ago, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
wonderful!" It's wonderful. Yeah, manipulating like pretty much anything is so much faster with Controller Command D.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Cool.
Okay, so now we have our start and end values for this current draw frame, if you want to call it that. And so we want to actually draw our laser with those values, and so you can call this dot draw laser. And then the way that method's set up is your starting X and Y, starting X, comma, starting Y, and then your end X, and then comma,
cool.
Y. So it's like 4 parameters.
Okay.
So we want to, in this case, give it this dot start X, and then this dot start Y, and our current X and Y, not this dot current, because we're not saving that to the class. Just 2 variables.
Oh, thank you. Let's do the trick again. And it's great for deletion too, chat. Hey, Command D. This stream sponsored by Control D. So yeah.
Right. So this will, once we have that method filled in, we'll draw our lasers where we want them to be. And so
cool.
That's good. You have thoughts on whether we should do the draw laser or we should do the next if statement, which is very similar to the current one?
We can probably just copy and paste that super quick, right?
We'll have to change it a little bit, but go ahead and copy and paste.
It's just like a reverse thing. Is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
So the current X and Y are actually the same. Well, no, they're not. So they're not. It is the exact same line, but the reason why we can't just move this so if you looked at this code right now, and you're trying to optimize it, then you're like, okay, well, lines 90 and 91 are the exact same as 95 and 96, right?
Right.
So I should be able to just move those outside of the if statement, but you can't
because of this right here, because of 94. Yeah.
Right. So the progress is not normalized yet. So you can't move those outside in order to optimize because of that. I tried to, and it didn't make sense. So I had to move back. But the line that we do need to change also is the draw laser. So in this case, for the second half of our animation, the laser has already grown from the start to the end. Now we want the starting position to be the current X and Y, and then the ending ones are end X and Y.
Right. So we're doing this and not start X, start Y, but end X, end Y.
Right. So that way it'll shrink from the start towards the end.
Got it. Because by the end of this, like once this has gone completely to 1, current X and current Y, or actually here, this should be the same value as end X and end Y, right? So
right. When the progress is 1.
Yeah, that's going to go to 1, and then we're going to no longer be less than 1, so it'll kick into here, we'll subtract, and so it'll go back to 0, and then we are then going to have this flip and become essentially start X and start Y, right?
Yep.
And then it'll move towards end X. Cool.
Right. So that'll have our two halves of the laser growing and shrinking. So now we actually need to draw some stuff.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
So Canvas, it takes some getting used to for sure.
Okay.
If you're not used to Canvas, you might. It's just like a different way of thinking than like making DOM stuff. But it's very. I'd say that a lot of the declarations in Canvas are like pretty straightforward in terms of like the method names and such.
Draw a rectangle and stuff, right?
Yeah, you have to like, if you're drawing a line, you like begin the path, and then you draw you move it to somewhere, and then you draw a line. Anyway, we're gonna get to that.
Cool. And just real quick in the chat, Nino Pepper says, I already learned that Canvas animations are much more timeline-esque than I thought in terms of how you think of complex animations.
Yeah, they can be.
That's cool.
Yeah, oftentimes.
And B1 Mind is shocked that you're not using green sock.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you definitely could, but you would. So if you use GSAP on a project like this, well, like a component like this, I should say, the project might be more involved. In a component like this, like I wouldn't be using a lot of the features of GSAP because basically all I'm needing is animation timing,
right,
and then like progress value, and like GSAP has so much more than that.
Yeah.
Which ultimately, like load time doesn't matter that much, and GSAP loads very fast, so like it'd be perfectly fine if you used it. But I tend not to use tools that are much more involved than you need. Just I feel like
we wouldn't want overkill with a kaiju city destroying CodePen. That would be
how dare you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just send you the lines for this. So I'll do that, I guess, in Discord.
Sounds good.
Just because there's like some color values and stuff that would be boring to watch you type.
Yep, I hear you. So paste all that into Draw Laser?
Yes, into Draw Laser. And then we can kind of explain it.
Yeah.
First thing it's doing is clearing the canvas so that the previous laser and such is gone. Sorry for the...
oh, good. I think they know what's coming, and so they're preparing. Yeah, that's what that is.
Yes, for sure. And then we're calling our draw line method, which we're about to write with our starting XY and ending XY, and then
got it.
A size to draw the line, which is basically the line width that we're going to create.
Okay.
And then a color for that line. And
got it. And so where's draw here? Okay, so there's that. So we are okay, so we abstracted away a bit of the drawing so that we could draw it. Why are we drawing it 3 times?
So a laser
is it gonna like fade in and out?
No. So our laser in this case will have some different colors. So like we could make it with just one line, but then it's less interesting.
Got it.
By having some layered lines of some different widths, it kind of gives us more of a gradient,
Like
I guess.
a fuzzy, like the border is not going to be like a hard stop as much as it would be if you only had this middle one.
Right.
Or yeah, it seems like this one is going to take the opacity between is that a random function?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
So that's just the helper function that I made to generate
Cool.
random
Okay.
number between the given start and end. So yeah,
Got it.
the first line will be like almost transparent. The second one, you can see it, and then the third one will be mostly transparent as well.
Got it. And that one's going to be a bit bigger. So that one's going to be the biggest. That one's going to be kind of big, and that one's going to be sort of the core of the laser, right? Like it's going to be like got it. That's cool.
And in a canvas, the order does matter. So the
Okay.
one that is on in line 73 will be drawn first, and then the others will be drawn on top of
On
it.
top. Got it.
So depending on how you want it to look, you could change the layering.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it doesn't matter too much in this case.
All right.
So yeah, now we're going to actually draw our line. So with canvas, like I said, it seems complex, but each thing kind of makes sense. So the first thing that we can do is probably set just some. So in Canvas, you have your context, right? Are you familiar with the concept of context? I guess I should explain it anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
So basically, in Canvas, you have this thing called context, and in your context for a canvas is like some, I guess, settings that are currently being used is a good way to think of it.
Okay.
And the context also gives you access to the drawing commands and things like that for Canvas. So every time that you're wanting to draw something in Canvas and say you wanted to give it a color, you have to change the context color property for whatever you're trying to draw in order for it to know what color you want it to be. So for the sake of understanding, we can start with the color first. So you can do laser context, because we're going to have two contexts later. So you can say, laser CTX dot stroke style, because when we're creating a line, it doesn't have a fill. It's only a stroke because it's only
makes sense.
A line.
Yeah. No, there's no meat to it.
There's also fill style if you're doing something like a rectangle, but we're not. And then you can set that equal to stroke, which is our color that we're passing in. So this will, for everything that is next drawn, change the stroke style to that color.
Just super quick. When did we? So laser context, is that just always there? Like our laser is always already in the DOM? Is that what? Am I understanding that correctly, or?
So so into the JavaScript, we can see that we're getting the laser canvas element in the line above, line 5.
Okay, got it.
So that's the actual DOM reference, and then you can from that DOM reference get the context.
Got it. Okay, cool. That's perfect. Yeah, just real quick settings, just making sure. All right, cool. I just had a quick oh no, because B1 Mind, take care. I blew Bruno Simone's audio thing. I'm not sure if you know, but the video save didn't include the audio, so I just went and checked my settings just to make sure. Because I was like, oh no, did I do it again? I'm pretty sure we're good. I'm pretty sure this one will be saved because B1 Mind said I'll check the replay, and so many people were like, I'll check the replay for Bruno, and I'm like, oh no. So yeah,
so sad.
Just had a brief heart attack because that memory came back. But anyway, all right, we are good. We are good.
So you can go back to the draw line, I believe is the method. So up. You just passed it. Yeah, there we go. So that sets the color. We also want to set laser context dot line cap, which anytime you draw a line, the endpoints you could make it just a jagged edge, or you could give it, in this case, a line cap, which
Can it be but?
it could be.
I think I just summoned Adam Kuhn into the. It's his favorite.
I was gonna suggest using round.
All right.
But,
I mean, he's not here, so I think you are in charge.
You could use but if you want to. It will not change the end effect too much.
This is a very mature show, so.
The only other thing we need to set in terms of properties is the line width. So again, laser context dot line width, and set that equal to the width that we're passing in.
Cool.
So now we have our property set. Now we can actually draw the line. In order to do that, we want to do laser context dot begin path, which will tell it to, hey, start drawing something. Then after that, you can say laser context dot move to, which is a method. You pass in the x and the y, which in our case is the start x and start y. And then the next line is laser context dot line to, and then the index end y. Then now the line is done, but now we actually have to tell it to paint it. And so to do that, you can say laser context dot stroke, which will give it the color of the stroke style that's currently set.
Like that?
Which it's
just a function?
Yep.
Cool.
That'll get it to draw. And then you can say laser context dot close path, which will end the path that we just started. And I think you could switch the order of the stroke and the close path. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
So we'll leave it as is.
Yeah, it is a very, very is it declarative that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very low level in terms of setting everything up. And you could abstract that away, especially that's what we're doing here is
right.
creating an abstraction.
Making the one and then
there are canvas helper libraries that do that sort of thing if you are interested, but most of the time I just use the native methods because.
So wait, do we have a laser now?
I believe so. I believe we have a laser.
Chat, should we push the button? I mean, should this?
Well, we need to run it first, for sure.
All right.
So try clicking run, and we can see. Well, open up the console too, just to make sure we see any errors that occur.
Oh, nope, don't want assets. Console. Okay, so hit fire is what you're saying?
It as long as it's auto updating.
Unconstant index error. Where 81.
What that is.
I goofed on line 81. Weird. Missing parenthesis after argument list. I don't think I changed anything. Parenthesis.
See, closed.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, open up. Maybe check your actual dev tools. Sometimes the CodePen one is.
I'm gonna just save it and refresh it. See if there's really an error there.
Okay.
Yep, still issue.
Can you click the red the exclamation mark in the that one? It might.
Yeah, that's the
thing.
I'm gonna copy and paste from what you sent again, just in case.
That should be. It looks. All the things match up there.
Yeah, and there's no quotes in here because I was thinking maybe because you no, you pasted. Oh wait. Paste it in Discord again, but this time send it with 3 backticks first.
Formatting.
I think that's what's happening somewhere. I think something's getting changed or convoluted or something. Yeah, let's try this one. Yeah. See how the other one it lost the backticks?
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's clear. Let's try this.
Sorry about that.
All good. Yeah, it was the RGBA part. All right, that should do
Got it. Yes, because that makes sense because it's JavaScript's template strings.
Yep. All right, fire.
Well, so X out of the console just so we can see things. That's fine. Then,
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Cool. Here we go. Oh, okay. So we do have it, but I've noticed an issue, right? Like, the origin is up at 0, 0 where we put it, but that's what we wanted. Like that worked perfect, right?
That worked perfect. We did
Yeah.
it
So
without testing as we go.
came from
Success.
there. Let me run it again because we have to reset the is animating, right? But chat, you saw it. Pew pew. El Sexto says pew pew. Yeah, that's fantastic. And
We're gonna add the pew pews. Don't worry.
it's fantastic. Yeah. Real quick, just for the chat, I do want to point out one thing. So like, not only are we drawing it like like step by step, doing this low level stuff. Nice, Anthony. Very nice. We've got a confetti thing, and he just threw some laser guns across our screen. Every single frame we are clearing it, so it's getting it's almost like stop animation from like old school animators, right? So like you're completely erasing what you've got on the canvas, and then you're going back and drawing that new line, and then the next frame erasing the canvas, drawing a new line. It's pretty cool. Where like that's not the same way that you might like animate SVG with green sock. Am I right there? Or does that work the same way?
It depends on what level you're thinking about it, because technically the browser does need to do that work of clearing off the old and redrawing the new. It's just that all happens under the hood.
Got it.
So yeah, in our case, or in the case of Canvas, we have to be a little bit more explicit, because the flexibility that it gives you is that you don't have to clear it, and you don't have to clear it all the way either. You could draw like a partially transparent rectangle over the whole thing instead, so that each frame it starts to fade out, but you still see the old stuff, you know?
Got it. So like if I remove this, it's just going to keep the line there, right? Like it's going to shoot the laser, but it's never going to leave. And actually it'll probably be a pretty solid. And then at the end we call clear.
That's because of the if statement.
Yeah.
So if you remove the clear and the else as well,
right? But we definitely saw the difference. But no, that's cool. Sweet. All right, what's next? We've got a laser. All right, we got to explode a city now.
We do. One other thing to get the origin of the laser complete, I'll again send it to you on Discord using the 3 ticks this time. Okay, that should work.
All right, so what's this for?
This is inside of our resize function.
Okay.
We're going to just up the top, towards the top, a little bit further. Resize. There we go.
That's cool.
So instead of start being 0, 0, like we just set it to, we're going to set it to, in this case, it is getting where Gigan is.
Yeah.
And
so
using these magic values that I came up with, just for the sake of convenience,
to do like a guess and check kind of thing, and then yeah,
for sure. But basically, to try and get the right location of where his eyes are responsively, so that if you're viewing this with a smaller device or a larger device, it is approximately correct. So yeah, that needs to start and end X and Y. And then the end is it just checks if the target exists, and then goes from 0 if not. So if you save that and run it,
let me try to refresh it. So expecting that to there we go. Let's try this. There we go. Nice. Perfect. So good. All right, awesome. All right,
perfect. So now we have
firing our laser
from the eyes to the center of that image. What we were wanting. Okay. So now we are going to explode our city.
Perfect.
Using Disintegrate, which is the library that I created. It's really, don't expect it to be like the best, most tested thing ever.
You heard it here. This is the best, most tested thing ever. Cassie, you can quote him on that. Welcome, Cassie. See Cassie in the chat.
So yeah, it is just something that I threw together for basically a proof of concept. and it does work. And there's some fun settings to it. If you go to, I can send this the GitHub for it. Hold on
Ooh,
a
cool.
second.
Yeah, you can drop that in chat so people have, yeah, like if it's a thing that's not code.
And if you wanted to pull it up, you can view some of the demos that I
Nice.
have built for it. I
Zach,
recommend.
I'm gonna blow
Sorry?
your mind right now. You've just earned my star. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool.
But yeah, if you scroll down, let's try the draggable demo.
This one, the
And
contain
that'll be-
demo.
Yeah,
Cool.
that'll be a good one to look at. So if you take that,
What?
those are DOM. You can hold on to it. You don't have to let go. But like, yeah. So that's a DOM element with, in this case, just a gradient, and
That's
it
so
uses the process that I talked about earlier to turn those pixels into particles, in this
So
case at the bounds of the container.
It kind of like does like the eyedropper on like on a spot on that DOM element, gets that color and then creates it draws rectangles kind of the way we just drew lines, and then I guess scales those up over time and then fades them out.
Yep, basically.
That's so
And
cool, though.
it gives you flexibility to create your own particle effects. So if you wanted to change, like, oh, I want it to be circles instead of rectangles, I want it to fade out quicker or whatever, like, you could do any customization to those particles that you want.
This is super fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to make, honestly.
Yeah, this is
some of the
great.
calculations were challenging.
It's impressive, man. This is, yeah, like just the sheer joy I had when that first happened was,
yeah, exactly, right.
That was great.
And that's
Oh,
all
awesome.
straight DOM.
That's cool.
Too. So it's like full accessibility. It's just like a canvas layer on top of what.
That's
what we have
awesome.
there.
Very cool.
So
all
yeah,
right,
that's
so
a good
we're gonna
demo.
utilize that.
We're gonna basically do that. Disintegrate has kind of two settings. One is you have a container, like we were seeing in the draggable demo, and when it goes outside of that container, then it will make particles. The other is a simultaneous effect where you create particles for the whole thing at once.
Got it.
So we're going to be using that method of
Cool.
disintegration. So let's. So the first thing that we want to do, I guess, is call the method that we're going to be working on is the blow up target method. But we want to call that from the correct place, which in our case is inside of the else.
Right.
After clearing things, this dot clear, we want to say this dot blow up target to call that method.
Cool.
And now inside of that method, we will fill it out. So we already are checking to make sure there's a target that we can destroy, blow up. So the first thing that we are going to do in this case is let's see. Let me check. Okay.
All good.
We're gonna So the first thing that we need to do is actually outside of this method.
Okay.
It's in our init function.
Got it.
In order to properly set up disintegrate, we're gonna have to initialize things here. So after, well, let me think. Okay, so I'll go ahead and send you another chunk of code. And
sounds good.
Again, sorry
we can talk about it
for doing this.
Oh, good. It's
some of these are like, this is an API. I don't have to explain the whole API, which I could, but it would just take time and be kind of dull because you can just read the docs. So there's another chunk, and we're going to paste that at the top of the init method.
Like the top, the tippity top, initialize disintegrate for each city. Yeah, so right there.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So basically, this will create an array of configuration objects that we will then pass into disintegrate. So we're going to loop through each city.
Right. Which is a collection of DOM elements that have
images.
Yeah, cool.
So we're going to loop through all of those images. We're going to create an object, pass in the LM as the city, which is that image DOM reference, so that Disintegrate knows what you're wanting to convert into Canvas. And then the data object passes in some additional parameters of what type of disintegration you want to do. The type in this case, like I said, is going to be simultaneous.
Right. Where the button was just the specific edges or whatever, but this is going to be simultaneous. Got it.
It was, I think I call it like contained or something. I don't remember that exactly. The particle type in this case is exploding particle, which is the one that comes with Disintegrate. But like I said, you could replace that with your custom particles if you wanted to.
That's cool.
And then a reduction factor, which so basically in your image here, the current image being rendered, there are a lot of pixels in that image. If you created a particle for each one, you are going to run into performance issues, no question. And so the reduction factor here basically says, instead of every pixel, do it every however many pixels.
Cool.
And so I just came up with this basic formula, which is an approximation based off of the viewport width to reduce the amount of particles that are generated.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what the reduction factor is. And that will update if the screen is resized. So that's good.
All right, cool.
And then, yeah, we're adding those to our array, and then we're initializing Disintegrate with that array of parameters. So at this point, Disintegrate will loop through those and create Canvas versions of all of the elements that we passed in, and set up the rest of the particle system based off of the data that we've also passed in.
So, okay, so as soon as we init, we're creating, like, say we have 10 cities, we're creating 10 different canvases?
Yes.
And then are they like paused? And then you have to like hit play on them, or you have to hit Disintegrate?
Yeah, so they're not actually running yet. We have to tell them to fire. But that will set it up correctly. We're actually going to modify what we have below that a little bit.
Okay.
Like I said, it's so. I don't know how to explain this. So we could leave it as is and have the laser be clickable immediately, but Disintegrate takes a little bit of time to make the canvas versions of everything and get the images loaded and stuff, you know.
Cool.
So we're actually going to use a event callback that Disintegrate has built in. So we're going to say after init before. So when it says when our particles are all ready, you're going to say window.add event listener, and Disintegrate fires a custom event called particles ready, camel case. And then we're going to create a function, and inside of that function, we're going to do the creating of the laser and stuff.
Got it. Okay.
So now you can, just cut and paste
everything in here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So the button will still be there, just won't do anything yet.
Right. And maybe you, in practice, want to have it disabled state at the beginning and then enable it or something. I don't know. It's just for fun, so we're not going to worry about that. And then if we wanted to, we could also, so the way I have it set up in my demo is firing or clicking the button so that it fires one time without people clicking the button. We could optionally add that after the click event if you wanted to.
Got it. Hey, Naren, welcome. So this is just button dot
click. Yep.
Cool.
Which will, when everything's set up, it will fire the laser first time. But our particles are not exploding yet.
Right.
But it should still,
cool.
fire the laser.
So we saw like a second delay, and then it went. Welcome, Naren. Got some fun stuff going on. Nice. All right.
So now we want to go to the this.blowUp target, which we've already added to the draw method, right?
Yep. Just want to say thanks to Ed for doing the bump out of here. I appreciate that. Cool. So we're going to the draw method.
I think we finished it. Go to the else. Yeah. Okay. We're calling blowUp target. So now we can just focus on blowUp target.
Let's do it.
So the first thing that we want to do is get our disintegrate object. There's different ways that I set it up to where you could get like all of the objects at the start and then keep track of them. Another way you could do it is based off of the DOM element. Disintegrate basically knows which disintegrate. So there's the DOM image, and then there's disintegrates like data about that
Got it.
system. And so we need to get that data from disintegrate. And so we're going to say const dis object, dis, and then obj or object, it doesn't matter, is equal to disintegrate dot get object.
I'm gonna botch. Okay, disintegrate. Yeah,
There it is.
Disintegrate. Got it. I always say disintegrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's kind of how I say it.
That's how most people say,
Disintegrate. Got it. That's yeah. I'm learning so much today, Zach. Thank you. Cool.
And then you're gonna say dot get this object, which it's not, it's obj again, but
again, the first one was also obj.
Named by methods better, but
okay.
That is what it is. So
it's all good.
And then we're gonna pass into that the DOM element that we want, which in our case is target.
Cool.
So that will get the disintegrate information for that object. And now we want to actually create our particles. So you can say say disintegrate dot. This is a long method name. Create simultaneous particles.
You are outing me as a poor speller. Here we go. So SIMELTANEOUS. The E is wrong.
SIMU.
UL, that's what it is. Simultaneous. Create simultaneous.
Particles. Yeah, there you go. And then you passed in the disintegrate object, which is disobj. There you go. And that will create our particles, and we'll fire the animation that disintegrate already has created for you. So yeah, that will work. So if you just run it.
Okay, here we go. We're seeing it, chat. Oh, nice. So, but we aren't hiding the city behind it yet. So that's the next thing I see, right?
Yeah.
But that worked perfect.
It did. Thanks, Disintegrate.
Yeah. Wow. What a great library. That was really cool. Awesome.
So yeah, now we want to hide the original. So you can just say target.style.display is equal to none. Just to change the display on it, and then that'll get rid of it. And then let's see, what else do we want to do?
Nice. It's gone. See, this is Kaiju Demolition Services. This is really showing why hiring a Kaiju. It just beats the alternative.
We guarantee full destruction. That's for sure. So we want to replace
that city.
Yeah, get a new city in there for us to destroy some more. Because who wants to destroy just one city? You should definitely destroy more than one city if you're going to do it. So let's go ahead and create a function.
Where?
Call it we're actually going to create this one inside of, we already have it there. So
remove target. Cool.
Remove target. Yeah. So that's the one we're going to. I didn't realize I already had it in the template.
You came prepared.
I did. So the first thing that we want to do is get the current index the way you were thinking of it before. of
End
the
X, right?
of the current city
Cool.
that was just destroyed. So you can say const index is equal to cities dot index of, and then our target. So this basically just looks at the array of cities that we have and finds the one that was just exploded.
Cool.
And then we want to get the next index. And so you're going to say const next index is equal to our index equal for a check cities.length -1 to check if it's the last one. And
Got
then if it is, you're going to set it to 0.
Okay,
Yep.
so
You're right. Question mark 0, and then colon, yeah, index -1 or +1.
plus
sorry.
1, right? Yeah. Cool. That's clever. So
Yeah.
that's an easy way
So
to
do you have something that
a
like
loop.
makes your triple equals into like a single character?
It's the font. Yeah, it's the thing. Rex Roof, thank you for the follow. You are now a horse. Welcome. Yeah, it's what are those things called, chat? It's an S word. It's not. I want to say sandwiches, but I think it's because it's lunchtime. Oh, it's a ligature. It's not an S word at all. I just do want sandwiches. Yeah, it's a ligature. So
cool. So next we want for the next we want to set the next city as our target is basically what we need to do next. So you can say well, so here's the thing is
do we want to copy and paste this bit because we are running a little short on time, and I feel like swapping to the next one unless this is like
no, it's good. Not too we can skip it. It's not too vital
yeah, I feel like in terms of like the meat of what you've brought, swapping to a next index might the canvas
you can
stuff
replace the entire remove target function with the one I sent you then.
Got it. Okay. Remove target. Got it. Yeah. I just want to make sure we get to the good stuff and
cool. The only thing I've mentioned here is that it adds and removes a event listener that Disintegrate gives you that shows you when the animation is done.
Cool.
So that way you're not adding on a bunch of event listeners, but we can move on to audio for the last step.
Nice.
Which is a very simple fix. We already have a method that plays our audio at the very top. It's called play audio.
That's a good name.
Yes. Keep going up. You'll see it.
Oh, all the way at the top. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Right there, play audio. So it basically just takes your audio element and sets the current time to 0 and plays it.
Cool.
Which means it restarts whatever audio element you give it. So we're going to call that method in a couple places. The first thing is we have a laser sound that we want to fire. So inside of the fire laser, we're going to call that.
Awesome.
Could search for it, but looking that way is good too. So yeah, play audio. You're going to say play audio and then pass in laser sound, which is just the DOM element reference for that audio element, and that'll work. And then we want to do that also inside of the blow up target method.
Cool. Play audio.
Do play audio, switch that out for explosion sound.
Nice.
Now I believe that should be it. If you run it, click. Well, I guess you don't have to click it because it'll run first. Oh, we got an error.
Let's see what I did. What did I do, chat? Probably copied and pasted too wrong.
Yeah. Maybe I
probably pasted it in a wonky spot.
I'm betting that I included too many.
Give me too much code, Zach.
Yeah, I probably included an extra bracket, so I think we have an extra.
Oh, chat, did you hear that?
I don't think we did.
No? Let me try again. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Context is not defined.
Oh yeah, so we can set that just right before remove target.
Oh, so
There.
Zach, maybe I don't think you heard it, but chat did. So
Oh,
you just have to
nice.
trust us on this. It did
Okay.
exactly as you would have planned. Yeah, because I'm not sending you my audio through that. Black
Okay.
Plasma, you are now a horse. Welcome. Okay, let me see. Perfect.
Great.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
The only
we
thing
are
you need
hitting
to
that
add
error, but
is so I think I included on the thing, but anyway,
you
right
did.
before remove target, it should have context is
Got
equal
it. That's
to
my fault.
this, and that's just to keep an reference to what this is for that function. There probably would be a cleaner way to do it, but anyway.
That makes sense.
So now I believe it should switch out the
Oh, it's
city.
so good. It's so good. Here we go. So we got a new city. What do you think, chat? Do we want this one gone, or is this one a keeper? I should have asked that question. It's a very yeah. All right. Zach says gone. Here we go. Let's keep. It's so good. It's so good. It's awesome, Zach. This is fantastic. Do you want to drop so do you have like a final version that you can set public and drop in chat?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I don't want to drop my version and have people, because people tend to, as it gets passed along, people will be like, "Oh, Alex Trost made this," and I'm like, this is Zach Saucier's, and I
No, that's
nailed the
good.
name that time. I think I got it first time out of the gate.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, great.
So yeah, let's bring that one up.
Now we're all done.
Oh, it's so good. Debug to see the full. Nice. So yeah,
Might get a little slow. Yeah, okay.
All good.
So the action factor's a bit more here because
yeah, it's much bigger. But the particle effect is so cool. Really, really dig them. Came out great, Zach. Thank you so much for teaching us some Canvas, for showing us this fantastic. I mean, honestly, we went through a lot. Like if we just look at the checklist again, you showed us this whole setup. First off, I think this is such a nicely organized project. Like just dropping into this and being able to see all the functions that you've set up. I am never this organized with like my initial projects, so just I really appreciated that, just seeing how you would set that up, creating the laser and showing us how we are drawing that line. And I loved this, the way you, yeah, like if I go back here, like I kind of wanted to, before we were done, I wanted to remove some of these just to kind of see the difference between. Oh, did I break it? Yeah, I think I broke this one. Hold on.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah, so like it's got that nice fuzziness. Oh, and actually, I kind of want to slow it down.
That's fine.
Let's go 1,000, just so I can kind of appreciate the line a bit longer. It's just on mine, so I just want to run this. Yeah, it's got like that. You see that, chat? How it has like the I don't know. It's like flashing a little bit. Like it feels alive even when it's moving really slow. But then the little fuzziness that you added to it. Where am I looking?
Draw laser.
Yeah. So that, and then that. If we just kind of shift this to maybe just 0.9 and 1, just want to kind of like see it as it is. I'm just trying to break it because this is how I like understand things, right? So it's like, oh, this is why he did it. Yeah. See the difference, chat? Like, very, very different. So just those additional transparent lines stacked on top of each other really added a lot. So came out awesome. Thank you so much for teaching us this, for putting this together for us. Yeah, this was a blast. Yeah, and chat, if you have any additional questions, Zach just joined the Discord. I'm not saying that he has to stay in the Discord, but surely after the show you can tag him in Discord and say, hey, what was that part? Or I didn't quite understand this thing. And Steve is here. Steve Gardner just saw you come through. Thank you so much, Zach. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm also available on anywhere else.
Yes,
it's easy to find contacts for me. So
yes, let me drop your .com again. think people call that a website, a personal website. But yeah, so hit Zach up. Very, very friendly, as you can tell, but always happy to help. And yeah, and you work for Rally. Is it Let's Go Rally? Is that the name of
Interactive.
Rally?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, this is a super cool site. Y'all do some. Oh, the Spotify thing that you all just put out is really, really nice looking. I was checking that out on stream the other day. That don't know if I'll be able to find it, but
it's not in the recent projects yet. It's
that
too
that
new,
would
I
make
think.
sense. Yeah, if I bring up Twitter real quick. I just loved the fan study by Spotify. This was gorgeous. So y'all are doing some fantastic work over there. Like the colors and everything. So nice. So Zach, I'm gonna bring you back to the duo camera. Let me go 2 people only. There we go. Yeah. Whoa! Ghostly Tuna just rated the party, or just rated with a party of 10. Ghostly Tuna. We're gonna hang out for just another second, Zach. I hope that's okay because Ghostly Tuna just brought some people over. I want to make sure that they see what we put together. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let me go duo screen. Oh, hold on 1 sec. I'm doing the wrong one. 1 second. 2 people.
We created something cooler than this. Don't worry.
Yes, we did. Hang on, our new friends. So welcome. Every single Wednesday, we have a fantastic guest like Zach on to build a component with us. We just built out a canvas-based kaiju demolition, laser shooting, city destroying component. It is super, super fun. Oh, Ghostly, you follow on Twitter. Fantastic. So glad that you were able to come through. We just finished up. Zach walked us through all this code. So if you're curious about it, you can check out the what's it called? The video on demand after the fact. But yeah, so here we go. We explode the city. It is so fun. Yeah, so he taught us all these techniques. This is his library. It was a blast. You can follow here for more great puns like that one. Yeah, so we had a whole bunch of fun, and now we're just smashing stuff. So yeah, every single Wednesday we are building stuff right here. So follow or join the Discord because that's where we're gonna head after this. But Ghostly, thank you so much for coming through. I'm so glad you were able to catch the end of this. But we were just saying our goodbyes. Just want to make sure that I said hello to you and your people. But yeah, Zach, once again, thank you so much for being on here. Anything else you would like to say?
No, nothing.
All right.
Keep making stuff. That's fun. You know, that's the goal.
Keep making stuff, people. Yeah, and if you do anything like this, tag us on Twitter or wherever. We would love to see it. So thank you again. Have a great day. See y'all later. Bye.
Yeah.